Ollie was up at Penn State for a conference, and he was staying. It was during the summer, and they'd turned some of the dorms into like a hotel. So he was staying in the dorm for this conference. And there were a couple other things going on campus as well. And the second morning, Ollie went out of the room. He'd really gotten the really cheapest place, so the bathroom was down the hall. It was on the ground floor. And he went out of his room to go to the bathroom and get a shower. And there was a giant hamburger.
Did he poke it?
No, he didn't touch it.
Why didn't he?
Well, it's not very polite to just go around poking things that don't belong to you, especially food. No, he saw it down the hall. It was basically in the lobby. So if you imagine, like, he went out of his door, the bathroom was down to the left. To the right was the lobby where you came in, and there was this giant hamburger, kind of in the halfway into the.
Did he think it was a gummy?
Well, he looked at it. He walked a little bit closer. But of course, he had like his towel and his shampoo and everything. But he didn't really want to stop and like investigate right then. So then, sorry, there's a hair in my mouth. So we wasn't really quite sure what he was looking at. I mean, it looked like a giant hamburger. It did look smoother than you would imagine a regular hamburger made giant would be. It did look smoother.
What if it was a gummy?
Or maybe, I don't know. But I said, all right, that's interesting, but I've got to go take my shower. I've got to get the first sessions in about an hour, and I want to go get some breakfast. So we went and took a shower. Got all ready for the day.
How did he get into this? How did he get across?
The bathroom was down the other way. Like the giant hamburger was off to the right. The bathroom was to the left. So he just went back the way he came. So he got a shower, he went back in his room, got his stuff ready. And was getting ready to head out. He's like, all right, I've got enough time. I can maybe figure out what's going on with this hamburger. And so he went out and to the right, but the hamburger was gone. And it had been big. When I say big, I don't mean like the size of a cake. I mean like the size of a small car, kind of big.
Oh, so like it might be a giant hamburger.
Right. It was probably 5 feet tall.
What the?
Yeah, maybe like 4 feet tall. But probably 5 feet in diameter.
That's
Shh, Elsa.
2 feet.
Hi, that's too much. It's too much.
Lower than you. Wow.
Right. It's a lot.
Like
Elsa,
as tall as me.
seriously, you need to be quiet. This is a bedtime story. You need to shh. Yeah, enormous. And the thing is just gone. No trace of it. It wasn't like there was, a bunch of plates or something with it, like a bunch of people had eaten it really fast. Nothing. It's just not there. Oh, I stopped by the desk. I said, "Hey, just curious. Do you know what the deal with that hamburger was?" And Luke said, "Hamburger? I guess I didn't see a hamburger. What was something unusual about the hamburger? I mean, it's a little early for hamburgers, but..." I said, "You didn't see a big hamburger?" I said, No, but I just got here like 10 minutes ago. My shift just started." I said, "Oh, okay. So you didn't see a giant hamburger?" I said, "No, sorry, I didn't see a giant hamburger. Good luck." I said, "Okay."
He said, I didn't find a big hamburger.
The desk clerk person. So I said, "All right, I'm gonna figure out that later." And he made his way. I said, "Get into bed right now. If you're gonna sleep, get there now. This is a bedtime story." He made his way to where his conference is happening, which was in one of the academic buildings. Doesn't matter. And along the way, he would just he stopped somebody. He's like, weird question, but did you see a giant hamburger come this way? And everyone gave him the same kind of response as the clerk had given him. Like, no. I would have remembered that, no. And he got to the conference, and the first session was really interesting. It was about advanced fingerprinting techniques. And he just really got in, it was an exciting conference. There's lots of his, peer private eyes and stuff. Lots of interesting things, lots of interesting people. And he kind of forgot about the giant hamburger. So you need to be in your bed for a while. And then there was like a lunch break. And I went to the cafeteria. And as he was sitting there, he decided to get a burger. He was eating his burger, and then he saw at the window a giant hamburger rolling by. Or, it was sliding by, so all I presumed it was on wheels. He said, there it is. There it is. He just left his tray there. And he tried to find the exit. But it was like a big glass wall, but there wasn't like a door. There was like a garden in between that and where he saw the hamburger. And he rushed. He tried to find the exit. He had to go into another part of the building to get to the exit. And when he got outside, the hamburger was gone. No sign of it. There was a person that was sitting there drinking a coffee. He said, dude, did you see a giant hamburger? I said, a giant what? A giant hamburger. Did you see a giant hamburger go by here? I said, no. What do you mean by a giant hamburger? Like colossal big, like the size of a small car. No. But I just got here a minute ago myself. I said, dang it. And he rushed off in the direction that he'd seen the hamburger rolling. And how did they get so fast? You turned the corner, and you could see all around. There wasn't another building for another couple 100 feet. And no hamburger. I was baffled and confused. But then he looked at his watch, and he realized that he had another session he was really excited about, which was about underhanded interrogation techniques, like sneaky ways to get answers out of people. And so I was like, all right, I want to get to this session. And so he went into the building. Now his conference was in the other part of the building, like on the other side of the cafeteria. But he said, I'll just go in through this door, whatever. And he opened up the door to this side of the building, the other side of the cafeteria where he was, and there was another conference going on there. I said, oh, this is interesting. What's going on? And it was the North American Confectioners Conference. So lie down right now.
Why didn't he go to his?
He's going through the building on the way to his conference. And there's another conference in this part of the building, and it was the North American Confectioners Conference. And so that does sound interesting. I mean, I'm not invited to that one, but he looked at there's like an agenda on a board, and there's all sorts of interesting sounding sessions. There was one about how to build a cake business, and another one about advanced sugar work, and there was one all about flavoring, like how to use different types of flavoring agents. And there was a presentation by International Flavors and Fragrances, which is a company that makes all kinds of flavors and fragrances. There was a session in the afternoon about new ingredients. It all looked very interesting. I thought, man, I should get an invitation to this conference sometime. And then he saw something. That in about 20 minutes, there was the Grand Gala. And on that little promo for the Grand Gala, it said, with world record-setting surprise. And I thought, wait a second. He made his way to the room that was listed for the Grand Gala. He came in, and there's a attendee there. It said, "Hi, we're not quite ready for the Grand Gala yet. And I think you're maybe for the other conference looking at your badge. I think you're over in the west wing of the building. I said, yeah, I am, but I've got to know. I've got to know. It's been driving me nuts all day. The record-setting surprise. And the attendant said, yeah. It's, what is it? I said, well, I don't know if I can tell you. It's a surprise. I said, really, I promise, I promise, I promise, I promise. I'm not, like you said, I'm not even here for this conference. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm a private eye. I know how to keep secrets. I've got to know because it's been driving me nuts. Is it a giant hamburger? And the attendee laughed. All right, come here, I'll show you. It is pretty wild. And they walked back to the back, behind the curtain of the stage. And the attendee said, "Hey, Mac, can you show this guy the cake?" I said, yeah, sure. Come around here." And around the backside of there's like a little partition thing there. Oh, I saw it, and there it was. It was the hamburger that he'd been seeing all day. He said, I saw it. It was in the dorm this morning, right? I said, yeah, no, we did some prep work in the kitchen of the dorm there. And then you rolled it by. I said, yeah, that was kind of bad planning on our part. We were trying to sneak it into the building. I don't think many people noticed, but I guess you noticed. I said, I noticed. And this is a cake? I said, yeah, isn't this wild? It's crazy. It's the biggest hamburger cake on record. It's a world record. The sesame seeds are gummies. The top is like a Cool Whip style frosting, and then the hamburger itself is this like a red velvet cake. Right. And let's see, the lettuce. Okay. The lettuce and the cheese are both fondant, and then the mustard is a vanilla buttercream frosting, and then the ketchup is a strawberry butter. It's more of a strawberry jelly frosting. I think it's going to be amazing. I'm not sure we're going to have enough people to finish all this thing. I said, well, I can give you my number. If there's extra cake when you're left over, I bet some folks from my conference would be happy to come over and have a piece of your record-setting cake. So, Ollie gave his number. I said, all right, well, thank you for showing me that. I really appreciate it. He went back to his conference, and it was an interesting session that he went to about interrogation methods, but he was also sort of distracted the whole time, hoping that he would get a text saying, send your crew on over. And at the end of his, well, not the end of the session, but like midway through the next session, he got a text. He said, hey, it's Mac. There is a bunch of extra cake. If you want to bring some folks over, we'd be happy to have somebody eat it. And his conference was pretty small. It was like, I don't know, 50 people. And so he went to the organizer and said, what if I could hook everyone up with free cake? The organizer says, well, we could push the next session back by half an hour. And so they all went and had record-setting hamburger, gummy fondant frosting cake. That was the case of Ollie and the giant hamburger.